It has never been a more exciting time to be part of uni life. For most, university marks an important milestone for students. From their first experience of living away from home, to creating lifelong friendships, and to sampling what life has to offer outside of study time.
I expect it to be, fun, interesting.
Cameras exclusively followed students and staff from 8 universities as they journeyed through an unforgettable year of challenges, new experiences, and celebrations.
We graduated!
This is My Uni Life. This week on My Uni Life, we are going green. We follow members of the Icarus Centre from Maynooth University who are measuring the effects of climate change.
We do need a lot more climate warriors out here.
We are in UCC, which has been recognised as one of the world's top sustainable universities.
That's a huge achievement. Everybody should be proud of it.
We meet the Gnomes, who have started a growing culture in the grounds of DCU.
We decided to take the bull by the horns, and start being responsible for our food.
And we're with students who are bringing new life into the world at UCD's Lyons farm.
I just love animals, I love agriculture.
Universities across Ireland are responding to the complex challenges that face our global ecosystem and environment. Campuses are creating change in terms of biodiversity and sustainability. At University College Cork, Biodiversity Week is crucial for raising awareness among students and the wider public. Recognised as the Global Sustainability Institution of the Year in 2023, UCC leads the way in making a positive impact.
I set up a spring biodiversity campus walk, so it was led by 2 students and also a research assistant on the LIFE project.
There's 3 beautiful yew trees, and they're Irish yew trees.
This was very much led by them, so I sort of gave a blueprint of what I envisioned the walk to be, but I really wanted the details and the information and the knowledge to come from them. It was student passion driven, really.
The point of the walk is really to get people to understand how important it is and that we don't lose stuff, because there's so much diversity that we do have. And being an island nation, our ecosystem is very different from like mainland Europe and stuff, so it is very important that we conserve what we have.
I wanted to come so I could learn more about the different types of plants and the nature that's on campus, and I see them every morning, but it was like it would be good to come here to learn what everything actually is instead of just saying, oh, it's pretty.
These students are the first generation to really have to face the worst of the climate and ecological crises, so we need to listen to them as well as providing pathways for education for them. This is students engaging their peers and engaging the wider community about the climate and biodiversity challenges that we're facing.
So we've ended up here in the community gardens. It is open to students and the faculty of UCC. It is thronged with both wild plants that have sort of made their way in here on their own, and a selection of plants that we've brought in, including edibles like rhubarb just over there. Thank you all very, very much for coming, and I hope it's given you a flavour of what's on offer here at the campus.
We will be back on the UCC campus later when spring arrives. The Icarus Centre, part of the Geography Department at Maynooth University, is an internationally recognised leader of research in the area of climate change and how society can adapt to the challenges that it brings.
Climate change is a massive challenge, and it requires us to bring together all the different disciplines. And that's what we tried to do with the MSc in climate change and with the Icarus Centre at Maynooth, is bringing together multiple perspectives, multiple disciplines, from geography to physics to maths to social science, in order to get a better handle on what's happening with climate change.
Students from the Geography Department are on location in Courtown in County Wexford.
So I'm actually from this area, and my interest in understanding what's happening in Courtown came from a Sunday walk with my family and seeing how dramatically the beach in Courtown has changed, how the local environment has changed in just a short number of years relative to my memory as a child here, with expansive beaches and lots of tourism happening. So what our students are doing today on the MSc Climate Change is trying to understand the changes that are happening. We spend a lot of our time in the lab working with computer models, and it's bringing that out into the real world so the students get a sense of the importance of the work that they're doing in the classroom and how it can be used for decision making and informing analysis in the real world.
We're very lucky to get access to a location like this. Courtown is a very historic harbour. It was built in around famine times. And back in the very first survey of Ireland, they laid a copper bolt in the side of the pier over there, and they measured sea level relative to it. And now we can come back today and we can use our modern instruments, and then we know how much sea level has changed over that time period. So we know sea levels are changing around Ireland. We also know that they're changing at different rates in different places around Ireland. So it's important to have this local information to understand how climate is changing.
It was a passion pretty much, growing up, learning about how our planet is changing and the impacts that we're having on it. I always was interested to see how we can impact that, how can we change it. That was the main reason why I wanted to join something like this. We're learning a lot in this year, a lot of different interesting topics you could go into. Right now I like the agricultural side, how our foodscapes, how growing our crops and our animals, how that's affecting it. So maybe something into the food industry in the later, but still now you learn so much new interesting stuff every single day that it's kind of hard to pick it as of now.
I was standing here and I was looking at when the water kind of hit the staff gauge here, yeah. And then every minute we took the average of when the water was coming in. I love geography and particularly the ocean and marine species, so that's kind of what I wanted to do. And so I'm doing my thesis on shellfish and if the acidity of the ocean is affecting shell condition. So that's my niche and I'm passionate about it, and that's why I'm doing this course.
This instrument is a pressure gauge, tide gauge, and what we're going to do with this is we're going to measure waves. It's not supposed to be so heavy that you're terrified of it, but sufficiently heavy to keep it at the bottom of the sea. Okay? And I want you wearing gloves when you're doing this, because if this slips in your hand, you'll burn your hand, okay?
We have a tidal gauge in the water, counting how many waves are going past and the heights of each wave. Climate change is affecting the Bahamas, which is where I'm from. With intensifying storms, we face a lot of hurricanes throughout the years, and a lot of those hurricanes have strong impacts on the Bahamas. They've done a lot of economical, but also just environmental damages. I actually got to Ireland because of a scholarship program through the Irish Aid, the Ireland Fellowship Program. They target different regions across the world.
Climate change is actually a real threat to the Horn of Africa and actually to my country in Somalia. So I'm just studying this course, to get some new knowledge, some skills, some experience, so that when I go back to my country, I can actually contribute to building resilience to these extremes, which are amplified by climate change.
Thanks to the contribution of locals such as Sam Kennedy, students can access valuable first-hand knowledge and examine how communities are reacting to the physical change in their local environments.
You had a few big storms and it started to eat into the banks, and we've lost our beach. That in itself has economic effects.
Has the County Council given you guys any information back to why they haven't so far, or if there's any plans to do so in the future?
It seems to be the marina. And they think that the marina will solve a problem. But what's happening if you put a marina here on our north side, it starts to push a beach further north. The beach is always here, being right in front of the village. Stopgap actions are not good. We need a sort of a long-term plan to make sure that we're not just working for today, but we're thinking ahead for maybe 10 years' time.
The Icarus Centre is marrying important local knowledge with its ongoing analysis of climate data to enable coastal communities, not only in Ireland, but further afield, to face the challenges of climate change.
But just being a part of that is important, I think, because we do need a lot more climate warriors out here trying to just support the benefit of a better world.
Over at Dublin City University, change of a different kind is taking place in a remote corner on campus, where a thriving new business is taking root.
We're in the DCU community garden, aka the Gnomes Regenerative Market Farm. The Gnomes came from basically a passion to grow our own food, you know. We wanted to know where our food was coming from. We wanted to know how it was grown, what's sprayed on it or not sprayed on it, you know. So myself, Jason and my two brothers, we sat down and we decided to take the bull by the horns, you know, and start being responsible for our food. The name is very simple, you know. We're four young guys and we're mischievous, you know, the Gnomes.
A few years ago, the university gardens lay fallow and in need of repair and rejuvenation. Now, thanks to the Gnomes, the plentiful gardens are providing the campus with fresh produce, as well as important awareness around self-growing and biodiversity.
What we can do,
Yeah, what's the idea?
I'll make a little kind of a dressing, like a chimichurri dressing. Yeah, it's great. It's like a bag of surprises, you know, every week. See what's in season, what's coming your way, you know. That's what I like about it, you know. What's next?
This garden was left idle for a long time, was desolate. So what we done was we came up with a business plan and model because we were on a part-time community employment scheme. And we said to DCU, look here, this is what we can do with the land. And they were very happy for us to take the land under control and, you know, put our, you know, vision into practice. So we've been allowed to incubate down here, which is fantastic.
Must have moved a good 20 to 30 tonne of stone with one shovel, 2 wheelbarrows and 3 people. I tell you, we had a great rest after that one. That was an amazing experience. And one thing we will say about that is, if you can get through that, this part is easy.
One thing I learned when I started growing tomatoes was, one, tomato is not a flavour. Tomatoes are a range of flavours. There's so many different types of tomatoes there is out there. When you taste the red ones to the orange ones we have over here, you taste a beef tomato, whereas you go to the shop, you buy a tomato, it's a tomato. Tastes like a tomato. Well, tastes like a watery tomato, but it's a tomato what we would know as.
We have a couple of different varieties of apple trees here. They were here before we started down the garden. We don't use any pesticides, herbicides or inorganic fertilizers. All we use is the soil, seeds and water. We do feed the plants with seaweed extracts, but because our soil is in such good condition, we don't actually need to use it that often. We use a broad fork. It's a 2-handle fork which goes down about 8 to 10 inches and it just opens up the soil to aerate. It gets a lot of oxygen into the subsoil.
What we focus on is soil biology, and that's all to do with how the fungal networks and the soil biology work together, you know. There's an ecosystem under the soil, so we maintain that by not rotivating the soil, and then what we use is a shallow cultivation tool that just the top 2 inches, just so we can direct sow seeds into there. And what that does is the soil acts as an immune system for the plant. The next step is education. You know, we want to get out what we're doing here, because if we can't share it, you know, it's just one more thing, it's another blip. So we have a long-term plan there. We want to do training and education. We want to offer people how to grow their own food. We want to offer people how you can do it sustainably. We want to get the students involved and getting the college really on board with what we're doing.
UCD is the only Irish university to have its own teaching and research farm. Just outside Dublin, Lyons Farm provides students with practical, hands-on experience of farming practice.
Lyons Farm is a commercial farm but also a research farm. So we have sheep on the farm, we have cows, we have cattle, we have hens, we have pigs, we have goats, we have horses. So it's a wide spectrum, and we also have some tillage. So it's a large spectrum, there's a lot of stuff to be looked after here.
We're the only university on the island of Ireland that has its own research farm. Having a research farm like UCD have, it's absolutely critical to a number of our undergraduate and our postgraduate programs, not just in agriculture, but also in veterinary medicine and a whole wide range of environmental science programs as well. So at the moment we're in the main lambing season at the Lyons Farm, so that's really when the research for our sheep production systems research kicks off. We have one large study underway this year. It's looking at different forages, so different grass types or different plant compositions that we feed to our ewes. We have a number of students out here this week, you know, helping out with the research, helping out with the lambing. So they really get a very in-depth understanding of what research involves, how the data is collected, and then when they go back into the lecture hall, they get a better appreciation for where that data is coming from.
I can feel ahead. I'm just looking for the 2 feet now.
Rachel is completing her PhD at UCD and has access to resources of the farm for her research.
Strange feeling, it's kind of gross but amazing at the same time. It's lovely to see new life coming into the world, and it's lovely to be able to help new life come into the world too. And to see the lambs healthy and thriving is great. We've over 300 ewes to lamb, and now we've about 200 lambs now, so it's been a really hectic couple of days. Well, today it's another heavy day of lambing. We've got roughly 100 ewes left to lamb, so we have a great team here today.
So we're just looking to see if there's any going to lamb at the minute, so we're looking to see if there's any animals moving around, kind of going into the corner, pawing at the ground. We're hoping that they're going to in a few minutes, so we're just having a look and seeing.
Emily is an ag science student, along to lend a hand and gain some valuable experience.
I just love animals, I love agriculture. I was brought up on a farm. We would have always been out with the calves, giving them the bottles, and it's just great to keep it going, It's hard work, but it's very rewarding work, and if you have a passion for it, that's just the main thing. Oh yeah, she's getting ready. I can feel one. There's a head. Just trying to grab the second leg. Oh, I think I have it. It's good to get the first one out of the way. It's my first day and I'm after having 2 sets of twins. We learn a lot about it in college, in UCD, but it's so different to go and do it yourself.
Once the ewes are lambed, the lambs are weighed. We record that, we record their sex and we record their vigour, whether or not they're up and suckling straight away, or are they a wee bit slower and need a little bit of help to kind of get up and moving. 6.3 kilos.
While Rachel and Emily are familiar with farm life, for many of the students, it's their first experience on a farm.
I'm just from Leaks, down the road in an estate. Everyone in the course, they'd be shocked when they chat to me because they're like, how are you not from a farming background? Which at first was kind of annoying, but now, I don't know, I think it makes me more motivated to work a bit harder because I don't have that natural instinct to just know when things are happening. And it's nice as well because I'm learning fresh from lecturers and from people like Rachel, so I'm learning exactly how it's meant to be done. This one isn't suckling on and he's the smallest of the bunch, so if he's not feeding now, we'll have to put him in the pen. So good thing is he's drinking loads though. Just checking him there for his belly. Now. I have a pen and paper, I'm just noting everything down, how much they took out of the bottle, how much has gone out of it. And if there's any who's kind of taken less than 30 ml, I'm putting them on a tube feed. I'm really interested in AI and genetics. I'd love to do something in breeding or kind of the lab side of things as well. I'd be really interested in that. Day by day, there's more and more opportunities being thrown at us, so it's great.
Despite their contrasting backgrounds, students are united in their passion for farming.
I'm not sure will I go on and do a PhD or will I go into a job or travel. I'm not sure yet, but I just know that I have a great interest in the area of agriculture and that whatever I do go into, I'll really enjoy, and that's the main thing.
It's springtime at University College Cork and students are in exam mode. Head gardener Jack Murphy and his team are also hard at work.
It's fierce exciting to be the 8th greenest, most sustainable university in the world and the first college in Ireland to achieve the green flag status. That's a huge achievement, for a university in the middle of a city centre. Everybody should be proud of it. I'm gardening since 1995. I started in the pitch and put course in Newmarket in County Cork, and that kind of got my, I suppose it whetted my appetite really for it. And then I applied for the horticultural course in Coláiste Stefan Nefa, and I graduated from there in 1998 and when working in the industry and started working here in UCC in 2002. And I suppose they say the rest is history. We're a small team. There's myself and 4 other gardeners in the team. We had to change our whole attitude to the way we gardened. A lot of our equipment is battery powered. We made that transition very easy. We don't use any pesticides, herbicides in our gardening. We use a seaweed liquid seaweed fertiliser to feed the plants, a foliage feed, and a granular feed for the roots and stuff. And we maintain all areas in here now as kind of a no more campus. So from February until September, every area is left to its own devices. So it's all about creating a healthy environment for the plants, a healthy environment for the pollinators, the insects, and I suppose a healthy environment for the workers in here and the students.
When the university first started to sow the seeds of change, everybody began to reap the benefits.
When we started out in 2018, I think it was, we had probably 4 species growing in the grass areas, and that was the reason for that, was because we were managing the areas as manicured lawns, cutting them regularly, fertilising them. And on our last count this year we have 40 species of native wildflowers growing in our no mow areas. I suppose this is a great area to highlight what we're doing on campus with both areas. On the right hand side here on the mounds we have the no mow area, and you can see the whole diversity of the area. So here we have the cuckoo flower, a nice little wildflower. These little ones here are speedwells, and these would probably be one of the more dominant wildflowers in all our no mow areas. There's buttercups, and again we have these signs as well that says managed for wildlife. Information is key when we're doing these kind of things. And then on the opposite side here we have the whole contrast of what we're doing. We have the quad area, and this is the centrepiece of the college. It's creating a nice kind of well-being for the students, kind of a calming area for them to come to. So a lot of the plants in here are scented plants, so we have lemon verbena, we have lavender, we have rosemary, we have Santolina. So we're here in our naturally sown meadow that we sowed in 2018. It's kind of after taking a life of its own from the time we sowed it. There's a bit of work in it. Every September we come along and we'll cut it down, and we leave what we've cut down lie on the ground for maybe a week, and then it's raked off by hand so the seed heads can drop off into the soil and germinate. This is year 5 now, and it's worked really well for us. People ask, why are we doing it? I think you just have to look around. When you see the whole diversity of wildlife and nature coming into a place, it's great. You see loads of bees, bumblebees, butterflies. We have the oxeye daisies. We have the yarrow, again another great pollinator plant. And over here then we have the knapweed, another great pollinator. We have over 20,000 students, a couple of thousand staff, visitors to campus daily, tourists. So when they walk into the campus, they know they're walking into a wildlife sanctuary.
Next time on My Uni Life. UL sports scholar Mark McDonough is back in the saddle on his return from injury.
I fractured 11 bones, had 2 concussions and punctured a lung while I was in college.
We meet TU Dublin fine arts students, Shannon and Oisín, who are preparing for their important end-of-year exhibition.
It's a little bit stressful. It's very, very stressful.
And we join DCU's Matthew and Chloe as they work with the talented artists of the Head Starts group.
We love it. Like, it's the highlight of our week.
We love to be.